Hello, Jennifer. Okay, I'm just going to leave the light where it is. I am making progress on my sleeves. I'm in stock knit sleeve hell, but that's okay. I don't mind it a bit. And now my dog he's quit barking, so. I really am enjoying this modern deco sport.
Oh, good.
I'm enjoying it a lot. And my daughter has worn her deep dive enough that she's because I told her, I said, do not wash it. I said, when it needs to be washed, when you feel it needs to be washed, let me know and give it back to me. I will take care of it. And so she just told me today, she says, I got to get the sweater to you. I'm like, okay.
You made that a better breakfast, right?
Yes, I did use better breakfast. Now I've got to decide what to use for my barn box yarn. I really like it too. It's sitting right here.
Yeah, I liked knitting with that very much. Although I didn't get my new design finished for barn box, I am gonna publish something in it, and I really like it.
I was thinking about knitting herring weave with barn box, and then I noticed that you were also talking about in your recent email.
Yeah, we included that as a free pattern, so.
Right, but then you also had it as a Kent choice.
It was originally designed in Kent, and we have it knit in several other yarns, but we definitely I definitely recommend the barn box yarn for that, because I think it would be beautiful. I just think it's perfect for like any type of fisherman sweater style. I just think it's really good yarn for that.
What would be the difference between making it in Kent and making it in the Dover?
Well, don't mention the name of the yarn yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is that still, can we talk about the yarn or no?
I think we can talk about
It's after the 17th. Okay, yeah, it's Dorset. It's Dorset.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't mention the name.
It's not really a lot different. I mean, it's not vastly different. It's not like the difference between Kent and cashmere or something like that. It's a medium wool, and it would be really nice in that. Probably the Dorset might be have slightly more body.
It's not apple. It's kind of apples and oranges there.
It's kind of like Macintosh and Honeycrisp, you know.
Yeah, that's a better analogy. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about swatching maybe for witch elm, because I really enjoyed that hat and I gave it away.
We would have offered that pattern if it hadn't already been offered in a previous barn box, because the cable definition on the Dorset is spectacular. And on Sunday, I'll show you like what I've been working on and swatches I've made and stuff, so that you can really see it. But yeah, it would totally be nice for that, because
it's totally worth swatching.
Yeah, because the construction of the Dorset makes it a little sleeker than our other DKs that are 2-ply, you know, which are very lofty. And so I think it would work fine.
All right, I'm going to give it a try then.
Yeah.
Well, I'm taking my time with the cam cable pullover. I've started it twice now. When I was reading the chart, I started off the right way, but then with some of my wrong side rows, I was reading it from the wrong direction. And fortunately, I caught it before I got in too far.
Oh, that's good.
And I know which direction to read them. It's just that I got going and I realized I just zipped the wrong way.
Yeah, if you do a lot of knitting in the round, it's easy to get confused in the parts for back and forth knitting. It can be helpful to knit a swatch in the pattern for that reason. You know, if you swatch just a swatch, you know, just like one repeat in wide and one repeat long.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be helpful if you think you might have trouble reading the chart, and that way you can kind of zip through it. It's just one repeat.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It doesn't even have to be with your sweater yarn. It could be with scrap.
I always find that helpful, because the first time I go through a pattern, I'm reading it so carefully that sometimes I mess up, on my tension or something, because I'm paying all attention to the pattern. So I
Mhm.
like having some familiarity before I start my sweater.
And it can really help you, decide if there are some stitch patterns that I love the way they look, and then I go to knit them, and it's like I will slit my throat before I knit this in a more than one swatch, It's just too annoying and whatever, and not necessarily in all yarns, but like whatever yarn I intended, it's just too annoying to knit it or whatever. I went through that with this current secret project that I'm working on. I actually swatched and started a project, and I had to stop. I was just beside myself with annoyance with it.
Nice to hear you be so honest.
Yeah, I started a different thing with a different stitch pattern, and I'm a happy camper working on this. And I feel like if I find it annoying and tedious to work, I don't want to impose that on all kinds of customers who are then going to be like, I'm never buying another thing from you again. The project can be done in a different yarn that's much more pleasurable, and the yarn can be used for a different project that will be much more pleasurable, and it's all good.
Who was it that posted a photo on Ravelry of the back of their sweater? And I'm trying to remember is it Subterranean? Did you
Oh,
guys-
Subterranean is Julie. Isn't Julie doing
Yeah,
it in the
it was
blue?
me. Yeah, it
Oh,
was
golly,
me.
yeah, that is beautiful.
Yeah, I have it right here.
She's
I
got the
know.
whole back done already. I'm
But
still
I
getting- No,
Oh,
not
when
gonna-
you said the back, I thought you meant the wrong side.
Oh, so did I.
This is the back.
I was like, wow, I'm so impressed. I can't remember the wrong side of that sweater being anything special, but
it is just beautiful. I've got a sweater's
you.
quantity of that yarn. It may be my next. That might be my Rhinebeck sweater. I don't know.
I'm not gonna have enough yarn. I need to get a skein somewhere. And I wrote to Barb, like you said, and she said, oh, we don't have any more.
uh-huh.
She said, I'm making a sweater with it. I don't know what sweater she's making.
He's making that.
Is she? She
Yeah.
said, if I have any left over, you can have my scraps. And I said, well, I know a couple people on the Zoom said they might have a skein they would sell me. So
I'd post
I'm
in the
gonna-
barn box also. Post in the barn box thread and see if anybody has an extra.
okay, because I have 4 skeins and they're roughly between like 108 and 110 grams each. And the back of the sweater took 165 grams. I had 50 grams left of my second skein, and I'm working on the sleeve, and I'm not quite to the end of the increases on the sleeve. I'd say it's about 10 inches long now. And this is how much yarn I have left. So
Oh
I
dear.
think it's going to take at least 100 grams for the sleeve, for each sleeve. So I'm going to be short a skein for sure. And then to do the, the neck band.
Can
So-
I ask you what size you're making? Because I also have a sweater quantity. I was imagining dandelion honey with it, but
Ooh.
yeah, for a summer one, but
So I always tend to make my sweaters too big. So I told myself I'm not going to do that this time. So I'm making the 4th size, which is supposed to be a 45 finished
okay.
size. I'm like
that's-
43. So I thought, okay, I'll only do the minimum amount of ease.
How wide is your back piece? How wide is your back piece?
It pinned out and steamed to exactly the right dimension. So I think it was 22 and a half.
Mhm.
And, it was,
Okay.
I made it like a half inch longer or 3/4 of an inch longer, just because I wanted to end on an even repeat.
Yeah.
So I should have ended at row 26, and instead I started the decreases at row 31, just because I wanted it to be, even. So I did like 3/4 of like 6 extra rows in the.
What do you mean by
like-
even? Even?
I
You'll
just wanted to
stop?
get through the pattern. There's 32 rows in the pattern, and I
Okay.
just wanted to be at the end of the pattern when I started my sleeve decreases. So,
And
you know,
did you end on the same row that you would have ended on if you hadn't done that?
no, it was supposed to be 16 inches to the underarm, and mine is like 16 3/4 because I should have ended based on my gauge. I should have ended in row, I calculated it, like row 26. And instead I went to row 31 and
Okay.
started my sleeve decreases.
Okay.
I don't know, it's just like math. I just
It
wanted
is.
to be
I'm
4
asking
even
you all
repeat.
this because I've swatched for my subterranean, but in Jacob, which I think is the
Oh.
yarn that Anne
We have a
designed it
sample.
in.
No, I didn't design it in that, but we have a sample knit in that, and it's really nice. In fact, Sherry, didn't you knit that sample? No, you
Did
knit the
sample. I didn't do Jacob. I did stone soup, I think.
better breakfast.
Oh, okay.
No,
Okay.
maybe, yeah, you did better breakfast. I designed it in stone soup. And we have
Okay.
a Jacob sample that somebody else knit, but not me. And I don't remember who now. And if that person's on the Zoom, I'm really sorry. I don't remember. It was a few years
Well,
ago.
I think it's going to be light as a feather.
Oh yeah, I wear that sample often when I'm in the booth. I love it. Yeah.
So I'm just curious because I know, Anne, you work so hard to get the pattern to match in all the seams and everything. That's what, Sherry, you said that, you know, how perfectly it matched up.
In the
Yeah.
side seams, the sleeve isn't going to match because the sleeve is
Okay.
plain, right? The sleeve is
sleeve is just
stockinette and the
stockinette.
body, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah,
right.
the sleeve
That's
is
right.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the side seams do match. And you should be fine with the Jacob. I wouldn't be surprised if you had leftover yarn even because, and I'm not saying you will, I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised because the Jacob is so light. And there's so much yardage in those skeins.
I'm
Whereas
glad because I did a
where-
lot of samples.
yeah, whereas the
Peruvian Highland.
it's so dense and round, and that's one of the reasons it just takes more yarn. Like it's just heavy and it takes more yarn.
Is Barb finding that too? That is.
I don't know. I don't know where she's at with her yarn. I don't think she looks ahead very far. She likes to wing everything. So
Yeah.
no worries.
Or we can swap a barn box too. If there's a barn box that you want another skein of, I've got quite a few of mine.
We'll work it out. I'm not at all worried. Thank you.
Okay, and I'm on Ravelry. If I don't know if is there ways to message people on, I don't know how to do any of this
I don't
stuff.
do
but-
Ravelry very much, but I can check.
Okay, I'm just Jay Pasternak on Ravelry.
Okay.
Thank you. That makes me happy. Then I won't have to have like sleeveless sweater.
One sleeve and one without. You walk
Yeah.
around.
I
Yeah.
have to ask Lucy, what are you wearing, Lucy?
Unbroken.
Oh, it
beautiful.
looks
Yeah.
lovely.
That looks really beautiful.
That
Can
is
you
my
show-
go-to
can
sweater.
Can you show us all?
Sure.
Stand up.
Oh,
Oh, is that working?
That looks so wonderful.
That's
Yeah.
lovely.
It's my go-to sweater these days. I'm so cold most of the time and it's just perfect.
What did you make it out of?
The yarn that has initials is it CVS or
Oh,
CVM?
CVM. Oh, very
Yes,
nice.
that's the drugstore.
Yeah.
I bet
So
it's
Anne,
really
can I ask
soft.
you a question?
Yeah.
I'm doing the petals and I'm on the back. I'm
Uh-huh.
starting on chart D.
I need to open it? Is it?
I'll try to explain it, but.
Why don't I open it? It's probably easier.
So on chart D, it's on page 12.
I have to open it.
Yep.
I might not have it. My iPad doesn't always sync to Dropbox. Let me go back to it. Sorry, I don't have it, but go ahead. You can try to
That's okay.
explain.
On this chart, maybe this will help. I don't know. See how on the chart you have a couple of those middle lines jogged to the
Oh.
right?
Yeah.
Does that mean you use the seam stitch or what does that mean?
Are you talking about where the interrupts the gray bar?
Yes,
That means that, isn't there a gray square before that stitch?
yes.
So you'll skip that stitch and perform it. In other words, those are twist stitches.
They
And it-
are.
Instead of separating them with the gray bar, I join them because they go together. It's a 2-stitch maneuver that goes together, and you just skip the previous stitch instead.
Okay, so,
If
So-
you're doing it, if you look at the line that the twist stitches make, it's just gonna continue that line.
okay. Because I'm making mine in a large, which is the middle section within there.
And you don't do the remainder stitches. So then just do this. Yeah, so then don't just replace it with a knit stitch.
Okay,
Just put a knit stitch there. If you only have half of a maneuver to do, then just do a knit stitch.
okay,
The seam
Okay.
stitch should always be just in knit. You should
Okay.
not, I wouldn't do twist stitches into the seam because then it'll be hard to seam it.
okay. So just do a straight stitch. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's gonna disappear anyway into the side seam, and
Okay,
you know,
all right. That's what
I
I'll do.
think-
Thank you.
I think Barb ran into that too. When she was doing her sample.
Yeah, I just think of them as like, I put markers every pattern repeat, and those stitches just happen to cross the pattern repeat.
Right, but what she's saying is, and in her case, her seam stitch starts there.
Oh,
Right,
So her pattern goes, her central pattern repeat goes all the way to the seam, and she doesn't do the repeat. Is that right,
I
Janet?
believe- yeah, that's it. Lost a marker, there it is. So I'll just make that side a straight stitch and go forward with the rest of the pattern on that part.
Yeah,
Repeat. Okay,
is
Yeah,
that
and I
because
think-
you?
I think
is that
that's,
'cause you-
I think that might even be in the notes somewhere.
yeah,
Like,
I looked through, but I didn't see it, so obviously I didn't look real closely.
I thought we had it in there somewhere, like maybe at the start of the pattern or somewhere in general.
Is that because you've decreased and so you don't have the full amount now, or that's just the size that you're
No.
making?
No,
I don't know if you can see that real well, but see in the very center, on
Yeah,
the bottom, it says which sizes start there.
yeah,
So mine is a large, so mine is only that middle
Oh.
section, not the side
Okay.
sections.
yeah, hers
Oh.
doesn't go all the way to the edge like that,
Okay.
although she does do a seam stitch first,
Right.
so, yeah.
All right, read the directions, basically, you're telling me, huh?
I
Always a
don't
good
know,
thought.
no, I just thought that we did put a note in there about
You
it.
could. I looked, but I obviously I just skimmed instead of really looked.
Because the tech editor brought that up, the same issue, and she
Uh-huh.
wanted to make it really complicated how to handle it, and I was like, I think that's really complicated. So I think I had already put it at the start of the pattern, and I thought maybe we put it in the chart notes as well, but maybe not.
I will double check. I'll go back
Yeah.
through.
All right, it might be in the written instructions as well somewhere. Any other pattern questions that people have?
I just found it.
Oh, okay.
I have a question, Anne. I'm working on violet in the, I think it's Kent lace.
Uh-huh.
No, it's goat.
Goat
Go.
lace.
Yeah, goat lace. I got the lace part right this time. Last time I thought it was fingering. So when you talk about with these colors alternating the skeins, can you tell me a little bit? I mean, do you do that through the whole sweater, or do you just do it like when you're transitioning from one skein to another, you alternate rows for a bit? What's your
Probably
recommendation?
if I did it, I would do it just where I was changing skeins.
So a few rows, one row of the new skein, one row of the old skein for a few rows,
Yeah,
just to
Each-
blend it in case there's a difference.
in case there's a difference. I mean, it really depends on the yarn. We haven't had, I haven't heard too much about that yarn having too much variation, but
Mhm.
I know like in the Targi, we see it.
Okay.
I've even seen it myself when knitting with the Targi Tango.
Will the Folkestone colorway be available in the worsted weight ever, or is it?
I don't
only-
know. We did put an order in for Folkestone. I think we ordered worsted weight. We usually, when we put an order in, we order the worsted with it. But that was so long ago, I don't remember now what we did.
Okay, because it hadn't been available.
And I
before.
don't do it. Like, I don't submit the POs. Barb does that. So I honestly
Yeah.
don't remember.
I just really want to make a sweater with it, but the sweater I was looking at was that chocolate stout by Thea.
Oh,
Cole.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it would be really pretty in that color, but it's worsted weight and
Yeah. Yeah, that is such a pretty color. In fact, when the mill got it, the order, they were like, "What's Folkestone?" Like, oh my God. And what's Ken Arendt? Like, they were, clearly didn't remember all the trouble they caused with it. It sounds like everybody does like their barn box yarn so far.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait till Sunday. It's such an interesting breed.
I was reading a bit about it online. And it does sound very interesting.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hey,
Hi,
Megan.
Megan.
Hi, Megan.
I'm knitting. My mum's coming to stay from Australia, and I haven't seen her since July 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I'm getting together all of my treasured bits of wool and things and making little gifts to send home. So in the bottom of my very precious stash from the 2011 Knitspot Fall and Fall Colour Club, I found some beautiful Nona, which is merino cashmere and Bombyx silk lace.
Nice.
Yeah.
And my sister-in-law is a tiny little pixie with beautifully long hands, like a tiny little ballet dancer who teaches piano and guitar. So she's very knitworthy, married to my only brother, and she's getting curling mitts. Now, I've made this pattern, I don't know, 100 times. It fits people with fat hands, people with thin hands. You can do it in all the weights, and it's just because of the construction on the back of the hand.
Beautiful.
It just is perfect. So I've quickly whipped up one,
Nice.
and I've got the other one I've just cast off for the thumb. So I'm not doing my jumper today, but it's for the greater good. And when I finish these, I will cast on, it's a hat that David's wearing in the photos, which you'll get to see next week, hopefully, when I finish these, for to send back for one of the males in the family, because I think I had some worsted left over from the Carlsbad project, because you can't throw away treasures, so they're all in there.
And you moved them too. You moved all of your treasures.
Yep. Yes, I
Good for
have.
you.
No soldier was left behind. There were things that
Excellent.
stayed in Australia, but it was not the precious yarn.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How long is
this yarn came out for a beautiful, beautiful scarf called Long Shadows of New York. And at the time, when I started Knitspot, I couldn't do let's face it, I couldn't read a chart, and I'd never done lace. So, and it had lace on both sides. And I thought, you know what, girlfriend, pick your battles. So I knitted the beautiful hat and the wristlets, and I thought I was flash as. But I went, you know what, the shawl is not for you just yet. One day it will be. And I will tackle it then, because it is an incredible project. But this yarn is just lovely.
We have a beautiful sample of that store in the Shetlandia fingering yarn. It's just beautiful. It's one of my favorite newer samples.
Maybe that could be what I knit, what I attempt at long Shadows of New York in.
How long is your mom going to stay?
Forever. No, no, she's here for a month. So
Oh, that's nice.
Is that because you're
So
not gonna
it's-
let her go, or because it's gonna seem like forever?
forever and not long enough, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So we have planned a royal progression. Family members are booked in. She's got a week with us here in Blenheim. Cousins are flying down from the North Island, and then we start the royal progression through the relatives down through the South Island of New Zealand, and she'll fly out from Dunedin, which is at the bottom. But we have 16 family members booked in. So
There's a schedule. I love
there
that.
is. She's 78 years old, but forever 22. She's just like a busy little bee. She's 5 foot tall and always on the go.
Megan, what year was she coronated?
Pardon?
What year was she coronated?
Oh,
When was her coronation? I'm just thinking to myself, it's like a jubilee.
it is like it is certainly required the logistics of a jubilee. My mother was born royal, I'm pretty sure if you ask her, and she's just one of those people that just moves sedately through, and behind her is chaos, but not in Mum's world. She's just got the knack. You know, you walk into her home, it's beautiful, nothing's out of place. Even when my daughter's there, her German Shepherd's there, my brother's there, their 2 schnauzers are there. Mum's place looks like Martha Stewart. Mine, on the other hand, 1 adult home today, 2 toy poodles. It looks like I've had 16 toddlers here for 3 days.
So basically, after she goes through everybody in the family from the top to the bottom, and New Zealand's going to be in havoc, right?
In her wake.
Yeah.
In the wake of.
She's absolutely an incredible woman.
Sounds
And
wonderful.
when my cousins and I get together at Christmas and we have a few drinks, we always just say our goal one day when we grow up is to be my mum. She's just
That's so cute. I'm so glad you get to spend some time with her.
yeah. Well, she'll be here when one of these is on, so
Get to meet
I'll
her.
definitely get her on here.
Yeah.
You'll love her. She is hilarious, but she doesn't think so. She's
Do we want to go around and everybody show us their progress or lack of progress? Does that sound agreeable to everyone?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna, like I said, I'll try to go in order. And I'll start with Karen W. You have to unmute. There you go.
Well, I'm working on bandage, and this is my lack of progress. So, but it is slowly coming along. So,
Nice. What are you knitting it out of?
Kent worsted.
Nice.
Yeah, it is very nice.
Alrighty, Jennifer.
Yes, I am working on the cam cable pullover, and I am very early on in the stages. I like what I'm doing, and I have learned through the experience of ripping it out a couple of times that it's not good to knit while I'm watching TV and trying to hold a conversation with my husband or son. So
Yeah.
I've learned that, and when I actually pay close attention and focus, it's a fairly straightforward pattern to knit.
Oh, I know what you
And
mean.
probably after a few repeats of doing that pattern, you can even watch TV and have a conversation when you do it.
Probably, yeah. This is my second sweater ever, and I'm still new to charts other than the extremely basic charts. So it's not a TV knitting project for me yet, but hopefully will be before long.
One hint that might help you that we probably failed to share earlier is that if you start with a sleeve or both sleeves, it's a much more manageable amount of knitting to make mistakes on and have to rip out or anything like that. So it's something to think about if you want to start with one of your sleeves, like put aside, don't rip back, but put aside what you're doing and start a sleeve, and that might be more manageable.
Yeah, I might do that. That's a great idea. I hadn't thought about that.
That suggestion kind of changed my life. That's a gross exaggeration, but it sure made things a lot simpler in my mind. And I also hate to do the sleeves. So getting them done first is a real blessing.
Yeah. Yeah, I might try that.
One thing I did, Jennifer, when I made it was I color coded the chart.
I did that, and that's been
Oh, good.
immensely helpful.
Yeah, that helped a lot because I would have to keep looking at the legend all the time if I didn't, anyway,
Yeah.
it helped me.
Yeah, that was extremely helpful for me. I did
Yeah.
that. I learned that on here from this forum as well.
I don't think I learn patterns quite as quickly as Anne does, but maybe I'll get better.
All righty, Karen Pedal Pusher. You have to unmute. There you
I
go.
did. I'm sorry. I've just gotten back to it. So I'm over halfway through my first sleeve. I like to put markers in as I'm doing the increase. So if I'm away from it for a long time, it's easier to count. And I'm using a Puro Soho yarn in sort of a dusty rose.
Pretty.
Thank you.
Sherry Trove.
I am, it's mesmerizing. So I don't know if I might have said that I'm rationing it. I only knit it during the Zooms because I'm afraid it will be done too fast.
Oh, that's so pretty.
It's
That's really nice.
It's like a little waffle knit with Better Breakfast and Cedarbrook Farms Entropy. And I have successfully tried it on, and it's going to fit, but not be too big because it's a real boxy. There's no shaping to it. So I didn't want it to be too big. But there it is. It's so soft and scrunchy. It's going to be good.
Nice.
At the top where it's solid blue, is that the Entropy or is that a different yarn?
This solid blue is something I found in the discount basket at the Cedarbrook Farms booth at Rhinebeck.
Okay.
So it's some sort of Cedarbrook. The Entropy is this multicolored. You see the long gradual color shifting. That's the Entropy.
It's really
It's so fun. It's so funny because when you bought that yarn and you brought it over to our booth to pick out your solid, I remember your skein as being like dark and like fairly earthy greens and stuff. And it's so much brighter and paler.
When you intersperse it with the solid that happens to be, in my case, a light, these bright colors, it's kind of pastel-y.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Nice. Okay, Audrey.
I am working on my second sleeve of this with the Festivus yarn. And like Karen, I put in lots of markers so that I remember to count all my increases. And it's going quite quickly. In the meantime, I made a barn box with the Canton. This is a copy of something from Outlander. It's Claire's little capelet.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The pattern's on Ravelry. It's really kind of fun. And I think I found something all my granddaughters are going to want in color. They're probably not going to want gray, but I think it was really a fun, quick knit. So I'm on the second sleeve and I joined them quite soon because it's joined at the underarm seam and then it's a solid piece moving up with the shoulder shaping. So I'll see what happens.
Nice. What's
Yeah.
the name of the pattern again?
It's called Sullivan.
Sullivan.
It's a Brooklyn tweed pattern.
Okay.
Yeah, what I read about it on Ravelry, lots of people had trouble with the shoulder shaping, and there was a correction put out that I have. So we'll see how I do with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
All righty.
What sweater are you wearing, Audrey?
It's called Ondulé. It's one
Okay,
of
that's the one
Anne's.
from the Craftsy class?
Yes, yes, and that's exactly why I made it. Yeah, and I made it in a briar rose color. Not that it had a name, it had a number, which of course is long forgotten.
Okay, Janet.
Hi, everybody. I am working on the petals, and this is where I'm at right now with the back.
Oh, nice.
Pretty.
Wow, that looks nice.
This is the Kent Lace beach gloss, I believe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Just like a sample. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
So pretty.
Very pretty.
Carrie Joe.
Hello.
Hello.
Let's see. I finished both my sleeves and the left front. I'm telling you, this like worsted weight yarn really goes fast.
It knits itself, right?
It's like amazing. I don't feel like I've been knitting a lot, but it's like I can finish one of these little pieces in just a couple days.
In a night, yeah. It's so fast.
It's a fun pattern to do.
Wow.
too.
This
Oh,
is the left front, and I'm working on the right front. And literally, I cast this on last night.
oh my gosh.
Nice.
Wow.
So I'm hoping to be blocking by the weekend. And
Wow,
start doing the, I don't know what you call it, band, the band.
nice. All right, Julie P.
I'm doing the subterranean. I have the back finished. And it's really hard to see the pattern. There, you can see it. kinda.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And I'm working on the sleeve, one of the sleeves now. So
It's
the
hard to-
sleeves are just stockinette. So
It's hard to see before it's blocked, but the diamonds alternate texture inside the diamond,
Yeah.
alternate from stockinette to
yeah, I don't know
reverse
if you can-
stockinette.
yeah, you can
So-
kind of see some of them are
Mhm.
they're
And that makes it stand out
pearl.
even more. Yeah.
they're pearl and some are knit and some are pearl. So coming along, I've been working on a lot of other stuff. I have a sister with a birthday this weekend. I'm trying to get a hat and scarf done for her. And so I haven't worked on this for a few days, but
So Julie, I sent you a quick note, a chat there, but I'm making the exact same size, so we'll see how it turns out when I do it.
and you're using a different yarn, right?
Yeah, a different
Yeah.
yarn. And I'm gonna do it after I finish this, so it'll be a
Yeah.
while.
This
Yeah.
would be really pretty, I think, too, although it's a sport weight yarn. I think it would be really pretty in that red Festivus yarn. The pattern would be. I don't
Well,
know if the gauge
well,
would
the-
work.
The Jacob is sport weight. You're using the sport weight, Audrey, or fingering?
Yes.
Yeah,
Jacob
sport.
Sport.
Yeah. So you can make it, as long as you get gauge, it doesn't matter. The fabric will just be different.
All right, New Jersey Julie.
I am still working on my, oops, the light, can't see it. There it is. The Zafiro from the
Very nice.
Red scarf knit along. I just realized if I don't finish this before I cast on a sweater, I'm never finishing this. It'll just get put in a bag and set aside. So I'm gonna finish this first. But I just have like 2 more rows of these alternating stripes than just the garter and the red. So
Nice.
and then I have to
Very
decide what to knit. I still am up in the air about my sweater project. We'll see.
Too many choices.
Yeah, I've actually hit the point where I'm like, I'm overwhelmed by my options.
Hmm.
So I'll figure it out though. See what's calling out to me once I
Right.
am ready.
All right, Catherine, Wild Phillies.
Well, I haven't knit at all since Saturday, just still kind of recovering, but tonight I'm working on my angels and churches.
Yeah.
And you can see I'm starting to get some of the pattern is a little bit more visible. I'm almost done with the first chart. So it shouldn't be a whole lot longer now, but just trying to plod along.
And you're feeling better?
Uh,
You're
Uh,
trying. You're trying to feel
yeah, I'm
better.
trying. Yeah, that's exactly the way to put it, Janet. I'm trying. Just haven't quite rounded third base yet. So
Well, you've got your nice sweater on. You're a naughty pine.
oh yeah, I've been living in this thing. It's just so versatile. This morning, it was like 45 when I got up this morning, and then it was 73.
Wow.
And I gotta say, this Targhee worsted, I never would have chosen as something that would really work for me in coastal Carolina. And it's just amazing. So I highly, highly recommend it.
Looks great.
Thank you so much. It's the only thing that's looking pretty good on me today.
Oh,
Gika,
I'm still working on Violet. I didn't change my name, but I'm on the back. I've started the decreases. I'm almost finished with the first
That looks pretty.
group of decreases. Thank you very much, Sherry, for the reassurance.
you're welcome.
I love the way those patterns like that kind of feel like an egg carton somehow. They look so bumpy and lumpy, and then you block them and it's like, whoa, transformation.
it's magic.
Yeah, magic.
Magic. Right, Nancy, I love, love, love the blue sky behind you.
I know Nancy always has like a,
Yeah, today, it wasn't so blue last week. We had a little bit of gray out there, but it's nice today, a beautiful day. I'm still I finally got all my gauges right and my swatches right. And so I'm casting on for my C fret with the precious yarn. And that's about it.
cool.
Yeah.
Where are you located, Nancy?
I'm in Oxnard, California.
Yeah, okay.
Not Ohio, definitely.
Or Michigan.
Ohio.
Or Maine, where we're pitch dark right now.
Right.
Well, it was pitch dark all day here, so
It was here too.
so dark. Yeah, it was a depressing
Yeah, I
day.
get those days.
We have them every day here.
It's been a dark winter.
Yeah,
It's very dark.
it's always a dark winter in Ohio, so. Megan, go ahead.
It teased us by being nice in November.
Right, right. Megan Leslie, are you still working? Are you doing dandelion honey for this knit along? Is that what you're making?
No, I'm doing aspergillum.
That's right.
I've only done 11 rows, but that's okay because I'm still knit spotting.
For the greater
it's
good.
funny. You come back to the patterns that you know will work. I'm such a slow knitter and life's busy. I have just not got time to be using patterns that I don't trust in. You know, it's really funny. But if I need a quick gift, the tam, the color work tam with the apples on it, you can make that with anything. These mitts, the hot waffle set, depending on the temperature, they're my go-to cold weather gift. You just come back to patterns that work. I just did those chain link ones for a friend when I got COVID in July, which is very fortuitous because the Tour de France is on. And if you know anything about New Zealand, it means it's on at 4 a.m. here. So it was brilliant. I got 2 sets of mitts knitted. And I only had a runny nose, so I was good, but I had to have 7 days off because I work at the hospital. So it was great, but there's one other. I tell a lie, there's one other. I do the Stephen West patterns as well, and because I can understand them. They're just they're well written.
Are you feeling better from your biking accident?
Yes, well, I'm still a massive sook, and all around me people have been genuinely ill, and I'm still sooking about the fact that, when your knee has that icky stuff and it sticks to the sheet and then it's sore, I'm that kind of sook. So I feel really terrible. I can't moan to anyone because I work at the hospital where people are actually genuinely sick.
Or you can whine to us.
Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
right.
But, well, all I'm saying is you forget just how pathetic it is to have a grey's knee as an adult.
Robin,
Here is my sleeve of my misters
Well, that looks really
in
good.
Nice. Good. That really shows up well with that material.
yes, it's the confection sport in the nougat color. And I love the cuff. I like the cuff on this.
That's great.
Yeah, it's a nice cuff.
is it different than just ribbing, or what makes it special?
It's like broken rib knitting cuff, I guess.
Oh, yes, nice.
I really like it.
That's really nice.
It picks up the texture in the houndstooth motif.
Okay. Sally,
Good evening, everyone. Well, I swatched on 5s with 4 petals in the modern deco lace, and it ended up being, well, you can see there's a row I goofed, but that's okay. And I'm gonna swatch on 4s now. It's too, I didn't get gauge. So if you can see, but I love it. And I love this deco lace. I just love it. So I'm building up my courage again to start another swatch. In the meantime, I am working on my Knotty Pine button band. And again, I want to get this done so I can wear this while I'm making petals. So I had a busy week, so I'm desperately trying to catch up here. And Susan says hello to everyone. She's in Denver for the next couple days. So
I was wondering where she was.
yeah, she'll be back next Wednesday.
Okay,
Yeah.
all righty. Sheila. Hello.
Hi, hello, everybody. I am knitting petals as well. I'm using the summer
Seasoning.
season. Yeah, that one. And I thought that, I'm going to do the sleeve first because then I'll get familiar with the pattern, but it's a short sleeve and it's only in
There's no pattern.
there's no pattern, but I'm really glad that I'm getting these done because when I'm done with the front and the back, I really just do want to be done. And like Audrey, I had made something, or I'm making something with my Erin Kent. I'm making the Eye of the Needle hat. And boy, is this luscious yarn. Man, oh man. So I'm very happy to have that also to just sort of be better than stockinette. But anyway, I'm very happy.
Nice. Jackie, it's good to see you.
Hi, I'm doing Unbroken in Fin Dandy 3-ply in the bear color, and on the back. So I don't know, 12 inches maybe I have.
That's lovely.
So I'm going to do the long version, so I have to go up to 19 on that. So, but otherwise I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I can see how it's going to look finished. I have a lot of fabric here now to see that. So yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Lucy.
Well, I am on the front now of Sticks and Stones, which is dark. You know, it's in Festivus, the green. And I think I better stop and measure because I think I'm up to the neckline. Or where the V shape starts. But it's really nice. I'm very happy with it.
Is it a pullover, Lucy?
Yeah,
Oh, that'll be nice.
yeah.
Very
I
nice.
was going to make, oh, well. I have a long story that's not very interesting, so I think I'll forego, but anyway. I'm looking forward to finishing that because I think it's going to be pretty.
It's a pretty green.
Yeah, it's a beautiful green. I love it.
Karen T. Oh. right there. Hello.
Hi. Yeah, I'm still working on my Naughty Pine. I don't really have anything to show you. Well, I can show you, but you know the pattern. It might be a little small. I'm not sure yet, but here's
Don't let the pre-block size deceive you. It will.
well, this is the pre-blocked.
Yeah,
front.
and I said, don't let that deceive you if you haven't blocked it yet.
There's a
Well-
lot of stretch sideways in that pattern.
It's very
Here-
straight.
Here's the blocked back. Okay, you tell me what you think. I'm gonna put it on my front, but this is the back. Do you think this is blocked? Blocked. Do you think it's gonna be?
Well, I mean, you got it over another sweater, but it looks okay.
Did you
Okay.
block it to the measurement on the schematic?
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
It'll be all right.
you'll be okay.
As long as my schematics, my body meets the schematic, which I'm not sure if it does.
Well,
Thank
you've
you
got
for
a
your
big
opinion.
sweater on now, so I think
Yeah,
it'll be fine.
I've definitely gained some weight.
Okay, my screen has jumped around and everybody has changed positions, but I think I got everybody. Did I get everybody? Okay. I'm still working on the sleeves to my, what am I knitting? Bel Air, which is stock knit. And I'm knitting them up to where it says to cast off for the arms, for the arm shape of the arm cup up here, the shoulder cup. And I'm leaving the yarn attached because I have a hard time with sleeve length. I either make them too long or too short. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do the front and the back and the shoulder seams and kind of sew this in place and see where it falls on my arm. But so far, so good. So I'm enjoying it. I'm loving the modern deco sport a lot. So, and it was like Christmas here the other day. I was trying to find my passport, okay? Because I'm thinking about doing a trip this year or
Where
two.
you gonna go? Where you gonna go?
I'm not saying just yet. I'm not saying just yet, but I will let you know.
Passports.
I'm
You're
keeping it under
international
wraps
candidate.
for right now. But and so I couldn't find my passport, and I'm like, I know my passport is in here. And so I've got this huge closet across from me that goes all the way across the room. And I was throwing everything out of there, and I came across a sweaters quantity of Shetlandia. That I had.
Yum.
Yeah, I had
What a nice surprise.
totally forgotten that. So I've got a sweaters quantity of Shetlandia, and I've got a sweaters quantity of the blue Peruvian Highland. And I think there's another sweater quantity in there somewhere, but I can't remember exactly. So, but I did find my passport, and I found out it was expired. For some reason, I thought it expired in 2027, but it expired in 2022. 5 years, not much of a difference. So
Get going on it.
anyway, oh, Julie, I miss Julie. Julie,
I was just waiting for you to finish. I was gonna pop in.
yeah,
I must have moved around on you.
my whole screen just if that happens, everything shifts.
I know, it does that a lot. So I'm working on Steve Brad and Better Breakfast. And hang on here. I'm working on the yoke. I don't know, can you see it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
I love that.
So I love it. I actually blocked the arms before I added them, and I cannot believe the difference in this yarn when you block it. It is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
It is so soft, and I mean, not that it's not soft in the skein, but it just becomes even more soft and plump. I love it.
Yeah, it blooms a lot.
It does bloom a lot. So I'm really happy with this. I want to start robins now next, so trying to get this done.
Do you have any more new yarns in the works, and any new
We
breeds?
had everything in Barn Box this year, I think, is going to be new.
Oh.
Oh.
So
And
the
then-
answer is yes, but she can't tell you anything about any of it.
And then we have the wool along in the summer that we have. I mean, not all of them are going to be part of our permanent inventory. I think we're introducing 2 new yarns that we have planned for permanent, and it's possible we'll only go with one of those. Up in the air. We kind of go by the reception in Barn Box to make some of the that plays a part in the decision making. But super excited about the wool along yarns.
Is it going to be kind of like what you did last summer?
Yeah, it's going to be the same.
Oh, cool.
We're going to do it'll be a slightly lighter weight yarns so that we can do a half shawl. So it'll be a cozy, stripy, very functional shawl for wearing as outerwear or around your home or whatever.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Now, there's another knit along between this one and the wool along, isn't there?
Yeah, spring fling. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll be getting cards about that in the future packages. It'll start. Unfortunately, the cards were printed with the wrong dates, so it's actually going to start a little bit earlier than the card says.
Can you tell us anything about the Galentine's box?
I'm trying to figure out how much water to put in the rice.
It's coming out in the newsletter next week.
Oh, okay.
Where did I see? I saw something about it today.
Maybe
it was on Instagram.
I think she added
Was it
a
on
tease.
Instagram? Yeah, I think it was on
Yeah,
Instagram.
she was going to start teasing it today. Maybe even at the bottom of the newsletter. She talked about that. Michelle did. Yeah, it's coming next week.
I really like the Instagram with the suitcase full of yarn.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an old photo that day. I'm going to tell her that because she's like, look at this photo I found. This is so cool. And I was like, oh, David took that photo. I think it was when we first had our breakfast blend, like way back, so we were kind of giggling about that.
I'm gonna head out. It's dinner time.
Okay.
Bye, Jennifer.
Bye.
Yeah, the Valentine kit is super yummy. And there will be a brand new pattern for that. It's something you'll want to be naked in.
I sense that that's the kind of gist of the new campaign. It's wonderful.
Maybe all of your husbands will be more interested in what goes on the Zoom.
No.
Can't entice Bruce, huh?
No. Not with yarn. Sorry.
I don't think Hunter would ever be here, but he likes wool. He just never would be here on the Zoom.
Well, not necessarily be on the Zoom, just interested about what goes on in the Zoom.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
have a little bit of fun with that. I was implying a little bit of naughtiness.
I see. Okay.
All right, you guys, I have a 4-row pattern repeat. 4, only 4, and 2 of them are knit. 3 of them are knit. And I screwed it up.
Been there, done that.
Right? So Here we
You're
go.
definitely backsliding if you're acting more like me.
Catherine, I aim to emulate you in so many ways.
Oh God, don't do that. You're gonna ruin your life.
I don't think so, but I am gonna change half a sweater's worth of pearl stitches to knit. One at a time.
One at a time. You mean you're gonna go around and change them as you come to them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't want
I
to rip
do-
anything.
No, that's what I do. I do that quite regularly when I have mistakes.
It's only half a row.
I see what you mean by half a sweater.
Yeah.
I had envisioned something very different.
Yeah, you made it sound like it was half
No,
the
no, no. No. It's, I'm sorry, not half the sweater, half the sweater's width,
Yeah,
half
okay.
a row. Sorry.
I thought you were awfully cheerful for what you were describing in my mind.
No, yeah, that would be terrible. The sweater that I just got done telling you, I rationed it out because it's such a pleasure to knit. Yeah, it's not that much of a pleasure. I would be so disappointed. I
This
do
slip stitch
anticipate
pattern?
wearing it sometime this winter.
Is it a slip stitch pattern?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's one row of knit, one row of purl in the slip stitch, and then 2 rows of knit in your main color. Dead simple. Unless you're, whatever.
Oh, so do you never have to move the yarn back and forth?
No.
Oh, because that's one
No.
thing I hate about some slip stitch patterns. You know how you have to, purl one and then you got to move the yarn to the back and then slip it and then move it back to the front.
No.
No.
No. You did 2 rows of knit in your main color, as long as you're going in the round. 2 rows of knit in the main color, and then the 3rd row is slip 1, knit 1 with the contrast color. So just slip, knit, and the 4th row is slip, purl, slip, purl.
Oh, see.
That's it. It's super easy and super flowy. It's not fussy at all.
Oh, I'll have to look at that pattern again. How many skeins of the gradient do you have?
I have 3.
Mhm.
I am not close. I have broken into the second one because I was doing some back and forth thing between the front and the back. But I don't think I'm going to even need the 3rd one, but don't quote me on that.
Okay, well, I'll be a while finishing my stuff, so I'll ask you again later.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because I have 2 skeins of last year's Valentine's yarn. And I
Oh,
thought
cool.
that would be fun to use that for that.
All right. Well, I'll make sure to keep good notes. So if I don't remember, it'll be on my project page.
Okay.
Is Nancy the only one who has sunshine today of all of us around the country?
Yeah,
I think Megan
so.
might be in New Zealand.
Yeah,
That's right.
I have beautiful sunshine.
Well,
I'm in it.
I think last week, or the last 2 weeks, for 2 weeks before, like it just finished, the rain stopped on Sunday. And for 2 weeks, we had weather, a lot of weather. And so now I think it went across the country. So now it's hitting everybody else. The good thing is the sunshine will come across the country now and hit everybody else.
Oh, no, it'll skip Ohio.
Yeah, it'll skip Ohio. for
And
sure.
probably Michigan.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I
so
think we're
weather-
getting your rain because we're getting 7 to 11 inches of snow tonight. So it's turning to snow here.
Oh, wow. Julie, that's quite a bit.
Yeah, it is quite a bit. We've gotten a lot more than that in, one swatch, but yeah, it's a lot.
What part of the country are you in, Julie?
We're in northwest Iowa, right by Nebraska, South Dakota,
Okay.
Minnesota corner up there. Yeah.
The Great Plains.
The Great Plains, yeah, except we're hilly here.
But they're getting, this is the best snow year for them in years and years. It's been a while.
Oh, I was reading, well, I was at the doctor's office. I was reading I-70's shut down in Kansas.
I saw.
Not surprising.
Yeah, that stretch of I-70 is just a windswept straight line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sally, does your little name thing say that you're in Michigan?
Yeah, I'm right up, I'm at Maple and Telegraph. I'm in Bloomfield.
Okay.
We're close, aren't we?
We are totally close.
Where are you?
Just south of Detroit,
Yeah,
right off of 75.
okay,
So what, half hour, 45 minutes?
yeah,
Well, you guys should get together.
we should.
I think that should be a plan.
Yeah, I would love it.
That would be fun.
I do work, but it's our own company, so I can kind of make my schedule as much as I can.
Well, I work as well. So the next time there's a day,
Okay,
maybe there'll have to be a road trip.
there we go. We can meet like in the middle and have lunch or something.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Okay.
All right, what yarn shops do you guys like up there? Because my daughter's in Ann Arbor and I come up there to visit
Oh.
her.
I have none. I don't have a yarn store anywhere near me,
Really?
but Sally probably does.
I have, well, there used to be one in Birmingham that I used to go to. That's after I learned how to knit in Switzerland, I came back and worked with them, and that since closed down, and there's another new one right around the corner from me. And I've been to it a few times, but between all the festivals I go to, I really don't buy yarn there.
You don't need to.
I really don't. Between the Maryland sheep and wool and Rhinebeck, I tend to stock up, and my stash now is rivaling some of the best, I think. But it's a lovely shop. I couldn't even tell you what yarns she carries. I don't know. It's just, it's not my kind of vibe in a way, if that makes sense.
Yep.
It does make sense. We'll scope it out.
Does anyone
Okay.
watch, does anybody watch the vlogs on YouTube? There's so many podcasters or whatever you call them, and I'm beginning to feel like a grumpy old lady. I am a grumpy old lady. They're all showing what they knit in 2022, and they've got these huge stacks of sweaters, and they're showing off all the sweaters that they are knit, and I'm like, that's a terrible job. Looking at it, and I'm like, that's superwash. It's going to hang down to your knees in another month. And I'm just, oh, Elizabeth, turn it off. But they're all, you know, I am a grumpy old lady, I guess. They're all drop shouldered, no fit, big floppy things.
Elizabeth, maybe you're just discerning.
I'm discerning. And that's a good way to put it. I'm discerning. I'm a discerning grumpy old lady. But it's just like, I'm like, and then I think to myself, oh, Elizabeth, I'm being judgmental, and I don't like to be that way. But I thought, you know, they're young and they're knitting, and you know, at least they're knitting, you know.
Right?
They'll learn.
They'll
You know.
learn. They'll learn, yeah. But some of them won't, and that's okay. They're doing what they like, and they're making a product, and you know, some of them are really pretty. Some of
I
them,
mean, I mean, probably all of us knit with garbage at one point or another.
oh
You know.
yeah. I remember those red heart days. But you know,
I mean, we had to. We didn't have like when I was young.
Yeah.
We didn't have nice yarn just anywhere. I had to, you know, really go looking for it.
Right. But
The problem is too that like, I mean, we know Anne's patterns work because they're seamed, they're pieced, they're separate button bands, they're all the things that make construction, make wearable garments, right? But sometimes, like the yarn that's the prettiest is superwash and it's awful. So it needs all of those tricks to make it actually hang in a garment. Like I have got a sweater quantity, a fade of hedgehog fibers. Now the colours in that, my husband describes as unicorn snot. I love it. It's all the colours. I am going to need a really excellently tailored garment like the ones that Anne makes to give that superwash any kind of structure, because the minute that stuff gets wet, it's awful, you know. So I'm probably going to make, to be honest, I'm probably going to make sticks and stones or something with a really good texture to make that it shine. And it's a really lovely premium quality yarn, but at the end of the day, it's superwash and it behaves like it.
Well, and I think if you don't know any better, you know, you do what you know. And if you don't know any better, then you don't know that there's better stuff out there. Oh.
True. They're also the women that I see on these YouTube videos, they are so prolific. I'm like, wow, you knit, you know, 15 sweaters in 2022. And I'm like, good grief. And some of them are very nice. Some of them are very nice. But like I said, I just try not to be judgmental about it. I'm thinking I'm just being grumpy about it.
We won't tell anybody.
No.
Well, I think
I've become very judgmental, Elizabeth. So
well,
don't.
you know, I watch some of them and they're doing these videos and it's like, oh, I will show you how to do this. Isn't this neat? And I'm like, give credit to the source. That's not your technique. So give credit to the source, and none of them do. It's like they've just discovered knitting.
They've invented it.
You have to remember, they're just trying to create content so they can make some advertising money.
Right, right. I have one of the YouTube stars, and she's quite a big YouTube star. She doesn't live too far from me. And her videos are kind of nice, and she puts out a good quality product. And I happened to be at a retreat last year where she was the featured guest. And so here she is on YouTube. She has thousands of followers. Her videos get viewed thousands of times. But when she got to the retreat and we were all excited to meet her and everything and thought she would get up and speak, the organizer of the retreat said, well, so-and-so is here, but she is extremely shy. So she doesn't want to get up and talk in front of a group of people. But if you have any questions, just come on over to her table. And I'm like, what? Oh, I got a good chuckle out of it. You're on YouTube with thousands of people, but you don't want to speak face to face with anybody?
Yeah, but see, they're not looking at her. She's in her kitchen doing her YouTube thing.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
So did you go ask her any questions?
No, I did not.
Do you know who was amazing? A really valuable and amazing knitting podcast is Fruity Knitting.
Oh, I watched that religiously.
Love it.
Yes.
Yeah. It's educational. It's lots of different techniques. Yeah, I really think it adds value to my knitting.
Andrea and her daughter put out a very quality product. I am a religious watcher of that because I'm surprised she hasn't been picked up by one of these DIY networks or something like that, because what she tells you and the techniques she shows you on there, you know, she talks about how to modify a sweater or what she liked about this or what she didn't like about that. And yeah, I have watched her from the beginning. I remember picking up her first episode, the very first episode years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What's it called? Fruity?
Fruity, Fruity knitting. Huh. Right now it's she and her daughter, and I can't remember her daughter's name, but it was her and her husband. But her husband died of brain cancer, I believe. It was very sad. It was very sad. And because he had
Anne's been on Fruity Knitting.
What's that? Yes, Anne has been on it.
Fruity Knitting.
I saw
just
that.
Those little segments. I've done a couple of those. I've never been a featured guest or anything.
I didn't know that when I first started watching it, um, you know, it was, you sort of get to know the people. And then when Andrew got sick, and it was heartbreaking, but then to see the Andrea carry on, it was just like, they're my friends now. I know them now. I've never met them, obviously, but do you know what I mean? Like, and if she said to me, "This is how you knit now," I would believe her, because for 3 years you trust her, and it makes you look at things like Marie Wallen or designers that you've got, you know, no interest in, with a whole new light.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Megan, because that is a very good or you don't call them podcasts. What do they call them? Blogs?
I don't know.
I think it's a podcast.
I call it a podcast.
Is it on YouTube? Is that
Yeah.
where it is?
Yes, on YouTube. But that's where my whole knitting journey seems to be headed, to the more educational. That's what attracted me to Anne, and was the learning about the yarns and just the whole process, instead of just, like you say, cranking them out. And, you know, it's fun to be in the moment and the hip thing to do something like that, but it's so much more satisfying when you understand completely what's going on. And
well, I'll tell you, I have one designer that I absolutely refuse to knit any of her patterns anymore, because this has been a few years back. My friend said, "Oh, join us in this club." And, you know, she sends out these things every month and we make this pattern. And oh my God, the mistakes in the pattern were unbelievable. And that we would say in the forum, "Can you correct this? This is wrong." And I've looked back at my patterns. They've never been updated. They've never been corrected. She put out one pattern once that it was a color work Fair Isle cow. And the colors in the sample that were in the photos were not the same colors that were called for in the pattern. And so you would start and you would think, "Wait, I've made a mistake." And, you know, her response was, "Yeah, we took that photo and then we changed the colors and we just never took another photo." And that's so sloppy. That irritates me. You know, that you're producing a product, you need to be accurate. And so I'm like, I am never knitting another thing of yours. And I knit 4 or 5 items. And the designs are lovely, absolutely lovely designs. But you had to really know your knitting to get through it, because otherwise you would be off. You would be off in stitch count, or you would be off in rows, and you would write in and say, "Oh, can you, you know," and everybody in the forum would say, "Yep, when you get to this row, do this, don't do that." And that's defeating the purpose of having fun in knitting.
Are you willing to share who you're never going to knit with again? Save us all the hassle?
No, because I don't want to skew anybody like that. I think no.
Okay.
I don't think you guys
Wondering.
No.
Sally, I was just gonna say, I'm gonna sign off in a minute, guys. But I would say that it's worth traveling to go take classes from people that, you know, are really knowledgeable. I mean, I had to fly to New York to take Anne's classes, and it just completely changed my perspective, made me realize what I didn't know, what I needed to learn more about. And from that moment on, and I would say Anne's Yarn Voyages class for me was so eye-opening and really changed how I planned my project. And just that alone led me to so much more success. But I've never had a class of hers that wasn't mind-blowing and elevated my knitting to another level. And there are other teachers I've taken classes from. I've been lucky, you know, and it's worth it. It's totally worth it. So like, you know, next time Anne's somewhere like at Madrona or whatever, I highly recommend just hop a plane and go. I mean, you always think like, oh, it costs me this much to buy the plane ticket and blah, blah, blah. Well, the thing is that before I started taking high quality classes like Anne's, I was wasting my time and money on things that were not working out because I didn't know what I didn't know and what I needed to learn. And I mean, some of you guys have seen me as a brand new knitter and look at what I'm doing now. And it's all because I've invested in doing those classes and things like this, learning from my Ravelry friends. I mean, I've learned so much from the women on this Zoom. I mean,
Right.
So thank you all, number one. And especially to Anne, who's basically given me my lifelong craft. So I mean that sincerely. She totally rocked my world. She's such a good teacher in person. It's amazing. You know, so I recommend it. But anyway, I'm gonna go, guys. I've got to
Thank you for
go to bed.
I hope you feel better,
Hope
Catherine.
you feel better.
I will.
night.
I'm working on it. You guys have a wonderful rest of the week, and hopefully I'll see you Saturday.
Sounds
Okay.
great,
Yeah.
Catherine. Bye-bye.
Feel better soon.
So Anne, speaking of that, you mentioned a while back of somewhere where you might end up teaching. Has that gotten firmed up, or do you have any other things?
Yeah, the Twisted River Retreat, it's in it's gonna be in May. So the weekend of May 21st. And it's right here in Cuyahoga Falls.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But
That's
it's not, the classes are not going to be available like individually. You have to come to the retreat to take classes, except she may offer tickets to I'm doing a trunk show and lecture, like about my trajectory, I guess.
Is that the weekend before Memorial Day?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It is.
it is, yeah.
Is it? Yeah. Because
Is
we're
that
not doing the Great Lakes Fiber Show this year, so it worked out nicely. I can do that, and we'll have a pop-up. We'll have yarn for sale there at the retreat too.
Is it
So
Twisted River Fibers?
it's through Harps and Thistles Yarn Shop. It's called Twisted River Retreat, I think. The signups are going to open like in a week or two. It's not quite open yet.
It was, yeah, it was in her newsletter this week.
Oh, was it?
They
Okay.
announced it. Mhm.
Save
And
the, but that was just a save the date.
yes,
Yeah.
it was. It was.
So,
And yeah, it's called Twisted River Fiber Retreat.
so were you teaching a class also, or just? the
Yeah, I'm
trunk
gonna
form of
teach
lecture?
yarn voyage and kind of a simplified sweater fitness class. She only wants a 3-hour class, which is very limiting in terms of doing the full content. So we're gonna do sort of a truncated, more like sweater essentials than sweater fitness. So we won't call it sweater fitness so that people don't get the wrong idea.
I'm having trouble finding a yarn shop of that name.
Harps and Thistles.
Harps and Thistles Yarn
Harps.
Emporium. Harps and Thistles Yarn Emporium.
Oh, harps. I thought you said heart.
No, harps. Like in the Gaelic. Harps
Right.
and Thistles.
So is it a Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it starts Friday evening. And then Saturday morning, we do the trunk show first. So trunk show and lecture, and then the yarn voyage. And then Sunday is the sweater essentials class. And that ends at, I don't know, whatever time, I forget. Like there's I think class on Sunday is from 9 to 12, and there's lunch afterward. And the price includes all your meals and accommodations.
Oh.
And class fees and everything. So
is class held at the hotel?
Yeah.
It's a really nice hotel. It's a Sheraton, and it's right on the Cuyahoga River, and it actually juts out over the waterfall. It's
Oh.
beautiful. So my
Yeah,
daughter
and
had her wedding reception there.
And the rooms are all suites, I guess. So that's nice. So it's comfortable and
Oh, well, take my money.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to sign up for the newsletter.
She was gonna, we had a meeting the other day and she was gonna figure out all the pricing from there. And
Okay.
I was gonna say, I don't know if there's a way for me to share the email. Let me look up the email.
or the link, is there a link in
Yeah,
the
let me look.
I've got the newsletter. You can get the newsletter online. Here, let me put this. I'm going to put this in the chat.
That's perfect. Thank you.
This is a link to.
And this will be after the Maryland Sheba Wool stuff.
Right. Okay. There's a link
Which,
to the page with all her newsletters. If you look in your chat.
and Susan and I are really serious about having everyone over. We just have to figure out what night at the Maryland and.
Oh shoot, I gotta get online and look at.
You got to get a place to stay.
Yeah. That I totally slipped my mind this week. Until now. Thank you, Sally. So how come you can be Sally and she can't be Susie?
Don't know.
Is your full name Sally or is it Sarah or what?
No, my mother was Sarah and went by Sally and loved Sally. And so she named me Sally. And and she always, and her sister said, well, why don't you name them Sally and Susan? And that's kind of, and it didn't matter who was in whose arms. They just said, okay, she's Sally and she's Susan. So,
that's funny.
Yeah. So, and I would have preferred Sarah, but I missed my opportunity when I moved to Michigan from Pennsylvania. I knew no one, so I could have changed it then, but I didn't.
Could have reinvented yourself.
Yeah, exactly. But usually people just immediately take a liking to the name Sally for some reason. Like maybe it's from the first grade, Sally and Spot and the first grade readers. I don't know what it is, but
I have a granddaughter. I have a granddaughter named Sally, and everybody loves that name.
They do.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a very friendly sounding name.
Yeah.
Charlie Brown's little sister.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah.
Yeah, I had an aunt named Sally. She was always happy.
Oh, I am for the most part.
I've got it on my calendar.
That's going to be a busy month.
Is anybody else going to make plans to go?
I'm gonna
would
try.
like to.
I'd like to go since it's, I mean, like it's literally 15 minutes from my house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
You have
just
to stay in the
signed up.
hotel though, can you know?
You know, she didn't have a day option last year. It was like a day pass. You had to do the whole
Yeah.
shebang.
Yeah, and we talked about that too, because she said, you know, she understood that some people really wanted to, actually last year they offered classes on Friday for people who wanted to be able to come to a class without joining the retreat. And she said it wasn't very popular. Like a lot of people didn't, you know, they didn't have the turnout they expected.
Yeah.
So that kind of,
It gets complicated in the planning too, right?
yeah, it does.
It's not
Making all
easy.
those
It's not
differentiations.
easy to plan a retreat. There's a lot of moving parts.
Mhm.
And you always have somebody that complains or does something. And
Yeah.
one year I had organized a retreat and for our knitting guild, and I had a woman show up who was a kleptomaniac. And she stole the instructor's materials, and I had to call her to get them back. And oh God, it was
Goodness.
oh Lord.
So Anne, is it set up where you're the only instructor, or is it one of those things where you have to choose among classes?
No, it's just one instructor. In fact, in other years, she had a dyer as well, but I don't think she's doing that this year. So it'll just be one.
Okay. That's great, because then if we get in, we know we get into your class.
Yeah, it's really focused. And I think, but it does like limit the number of spots to like 30, because, you know, class size can only be so big.
Right.
So when you get your email with the registration, sign up right away.
Yeah.
They'll be like, what the heck? Like she said last year, they had about 16 people or something, and
Now they'll be maxed out in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
you won't know what hit her.
Well, my flight to Madagascar gives me enough miles for a cross-country trip in the US.
Oh, wow.
Maybe,
There you come.
yeah, that might be a really fun idea. I got the link and I'll look at it. I can't look at it because my iPad is my Zoom.
Well, and there's no information yet, really. I mean, just the dates. So
Yeah.
Well, it's nice that it's just all inclusive and you don't have to think about anything but knitting.
Right.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure the hotel is air conditioned, so we could possibly even still wear our Knitspot and
There we go.
because May can be very warm in Ohio.
Oh.
The air conditioning always freezes me out, so I'm always wearing a sweater.
Yeah, it can be really,
Yeah.
or really miserable, one or the other.
I've got that firefly I could wear.
Yes, perfect.
I was kind of laughing when you were talking about people who don't want to get up and talk in public, because I'm really shy like that too. And it is different to stand up in a room full of people and talk to them than it is to do this, even though this is really the same thing.
Right. No, I know what you mean, but the fact that she was billed as being the speaker and everything, and then
Yeah, that's kind of
that was kind of like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
False advertising.
Yeah.
I don't mind doing it like in the situation where I'm booked to do it here. I don't mind it so much. It's the really big, like I've talked to, you know, several hundred people at a time, and those make me really nervous.
Well, if we just fill up the class with all of us, you won't have anything to be nervous
Exactly.
at all about.
That's right.
Exactly.
It'd be super full, but it'd be all friendly faces, so.
I just always worry, like, you know, what do I have to say that anybody else would want to hear?
So I'm here to encourage you to think you have a lot to say.
Right. I'm on my last sleeve increase. Yay.
My husband's sitting here listening to this, and he said, it sounds to me like I just planned a party weekend for himself. Like he knows now that he can have a weekend alone.
Just tell him, just don't let him know that I'm bringing the wine.
If you end up puking in the gutter, he might have to come and get you.
I mean, we can always move the party to my house on Sunday after it's over too. Really close.
Well, that's actually the perfect weekend because it always seems like things are going on Memorial Day weekend, and I have a big family event on Memorial Day weekend. We go away, my family and extended family, we go away together. And so my Memorial Days are always spoken, which is fine, you know, because I love my family, but I do miss out sometimes on some retreats and things. So I'm glad.
And I'm really glad we're not doing Great Lakes for that same reason. It requires asking employees and us to work over the holiday weekend and work really hard in really hot and gritty circumstances. And
yeah,
you know, I'm actually looking forward to not doing that this year. Just go and enjoy the show.
I've never been to that one. What's it like?
It's a really nice little show, but the last 3 or 4 or 5 years even that we've done it, we've either not made any money or actually kind of lost money on it. So I've been stringing it along because it's local and I feel like we should do it, but you know, they always say, oh, it's so great that you do this show because your booth anchors, you know, the local products, blah, 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 blah. But they don't do anything to bring traffic in. So we're not really helping each other. I'm just kind of, you know,
Making a donation.
yeah.
Right. That's the one in Worcester, right?
Yes.
That's like when they ask artists to bring something, you know, donate something. And they say, well, it'll give you exposure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the people who run it just haven't stepped into the 21st century in terms of using social media and to advertise and creating excitement around the show. And it is a great little show, but
That sounds like a show close to me called The Wool Gathering. It's just north of Yellow Springs.
yeah.
It's the third weekend in September, and it was started back in the 80s.
Yeah, it used to be nice. We've been a couple times to
Yeah,
that.
it was started by a group of women who had sheep, and they would end up with all of these fleeces and the roving and everything, and they were trying to figure out, how do they get rid of this? How do they sell this? And so they started at the Clark County Fairgrounds by having this show back in the 80s. And then they moved it to Young's Jersey Dairy, and it grew and it grew and it grew. And it's probably medium-sized for a yarn festival. I mean, it's not huge like Maryland or anything like that.
Yeah,
But
it's not a sheep and wool. Yeah.
Not a sheep and wool, and it's 3 tents. But the women are all, a few years ago, I think all of them except for one is dead, Lois. I think Lois is still alive, and she's probably 90 something by now. Well, they gave it to the dairy where the festival was, Young's Jersey Dairy, which you'll have to look up Young's Jersey Dairy online, because it's not just a dairy anymore. It's an event space. I mean, putt, driving ranges, batting cages, all sorts of stuff. But when Young's took it over, they really had no interest in getting input from anyone as far as what to do with it, and they don't advertise at all. It's strictly word of mouth, and it's kind of a shame, because it could really be nice, and they just don't do anything with it.
I mean, their vendor list it's always a wait list. You can't just get in it because you want to. You have to wait until a spot opens up.
Well, and it's mainly all superwash, all indie dye or superwash.
Yeah, it's become a real commercial type.
Exactly. And I when I go to these fiber festivals anymore, if it's all superwash, I just walk on by. I'm like, I don't really need to. The only thing I use superwash for anymore are socks. And I know that makes me sound like a snobby knitter, but it is what it is.
No, I'm finding the same thing, Elizabeth. I don't like it for clothing. So,
right.
You know, you can't even always make a hat out of it, because by the time you wear it 3 times, it stretches and you got to rewash it every time to get it back to its spot. So, yeah.
It pills really badly.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. There's no doubt about that, but it's not practical for anything much.
Which is crazy, because that's the whole point of superwash, that it's practical.
Right? Right?
Oh, you can wash it.
Well, it makes a decent blanket. But
that pills like crazy and doesn't look very good.
Doesn't look nice. Yeah. So we're back to
I think the problem is that there are some superwashes that are better quality, but they're just not. That's not what's getting pumped out into the market for the most part. You know, wool has gotten expensive, and it's people, you know, will choose the less expensive options to dye on, I guess.
Speaking of blankets, I've been working on my Roger That blanket for my husband.
Oh yeah.
In between all this, I kind of let myself go at night and see what I'm interested in tackling for the evening. And it's, gosh, that Kent DK is just unbelievable.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Oh. Because at first I'm like, why would you pick a blanket, Sally? And then I pick it up and start knitting. I'm like, this is why it feels so good.
You're knitting it at the right time of the year too, because you can cover yourself while you work on it.
Exactly. It's getting to that point. The dog and I, and poor Leo's over in his chair looking at us all comfy cozy.
He's like, are you not done yet?
Right. It'll get to you eventually.
Yeah. Oh, I plan to finish this in May.
Yeah, right. I don't know. It might be next winter. I'm not sure, but.
All right, ladies, I'm out. Have a great week.
Bye, Sherry.
Bye.
Hi, Sherry.
Bye,
I'm
Sherry. Heading
out
out.
too, so good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Oh, and Susan did get her Knotty Pine finished
Oh, good.
and washed again. She's washed it a second time and it went to Denver with her. I think she was getting up at like 5:30 for a couple mornings to get things done.
Did you mean she wore it? She's able to wear it or no, not yet?
Yeah, I think so. I
Oh.
think it was,
Oh, good.
it was drying over the last 2 days and
Oh, good.
I wouldn't even be surprised if she didn't wear it on the plane. I forgot to ask her.
Yeah, that I forget what she used the Kent worsted, right?
Yeah, she did.
Oh.
Oh no, she used the stone soup.
Oh, okay. The Targhee worsted dries really fast.
Yeah, that's what I'm using.
Mhm.
It really does dry fast. She loved the stone soup, loved it.
Yeah, it's really nice. I want to make a pullover in that.
Yeah, I'm doing the cardigan and I'm thinking about the pullover too.
Oh, not a Knotty Pine pullover. Maybe the new one. I might do a pullover of the new pattern in that.
David's sweater? That
Yeah.
one?
Yeah. As soon as I get my knitting time back for personal projects.
Instead of secret?
Yeah, I got to finish the secret project that I'm working on.
Is that the one for a magazine?
It could be.
It could be. Well, the reason I ask is you did mention that. You said it might end up in a magazine.
Yeah, it could.
And you'll tell us if it does. We don't have to go hunt for all the magazines.
I will.
Okay, good. I was beginning to think you were going to be non-committal about that.
I was reading my chart here.
Oh, okay.
I had to count.
I'm gonna have to go. Sophie's standing at the door staring at me.
Aw.
That must mean that it's time to go out. Is it time to go out, so? She's had a big day today. She went with me. My daughter has a cigar shop in Centerville, which is down near Dayton, one of the suburbs of Dayton. And I do the books for her. And so I went down there this afternoon to finalize all the payroll returns and taxes and W-2s for 2022. And I took Sophie with me. And she had a great day down there. She got a lot of loving. So
Got a lot of attention, huh?
I have a car seat for her so that she can sit up. Yes, she is a bougie dog. So she can sit up and look out the window and everything. And she fell asleep in her car seat coming home. So
Like
I'm
a
gonna
baby.
take her out. So
David got one of those for Riley. So when he takes her out on errands, she can sit in the bucket.
Is it like Sophie's
It's like a sheepskin lined bucket.
Yes.
Hangs on the seat.
Yeah, I'm sure we have the same one.
And even at that, like she pretty much has to climb halfway out of it to see because she's so tiny. But I just think the two of them are hilarious.
All righty. I'll see everybody. I won't be here Saturday, but I'll see you all hopefully next Wednesday.
All right. See you.
Bye.
I don't know why I can't count well with my knitting. I used to think I was so good at math. But at least I recognize that I should always double check at the end. Anyway.
I know I have to, there's a couple rows in this project where I have to really make sure that my certain stitches land in certain places or I get completely off.
Well, what I just forget to count my rows with stockinette because it's just
Oh.
sort of the same. And I forget to mark it down or put in the marker and
Oh, I see what you're
anyway,
saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Well,
not
like-
a big deal. I just have to add 4 rows to the sleeve I already fixed. I can just spit slice, finished. I mean, I can spit splice and add 4 more rows. It's not a big deal, but I don't have confidence.
Only to find out later that one arm is longer than the other. And you really wish that you had that half-inch difference.
Well, that's about what it would have been too, or even, well,
Yeah,
yeah,
about
about a half an inch. It would have been about a half an inch off.
Now, did you make that Outlander thing for your husband?
I
you say?
did.
Yeah, I
I
thought you
did.
said making that
Because
for him.
it rains here so much and the seam on his shoulders leaks on his jackets.
Uh-huh.
So this was knit on size 10.5 needles, but when you wash it, it's quite a nice fabric.
Yeah, it blooms a lot.
It blooms a lot to something like this. So it will absorb a lot of the rain so he doesn't leak through the shoulders of his coats. He is a total wool fan, and he dresses in Filson and has for 35 years. And until recently, they were bought and upgraded for some reason. They would fix anything and they looked at his coat and said, "How old is this?" And they mended it and they still had the same fabric. And it's a whip stitch wool that just it wears so well. And he said, "Oh, I think it's about 25 years old." And they have the same fabric still, but now they've changed the designs and changed how the pockets are and made everything a little thinner so that the weight's a little lighter. It's like an MBA got a hold of it. Yeah. But anyway, we figure he should model for them because he has a lot of old things and a few new ones.
I was going to say, maybe if you took some beeswax and rubbed it along the seam.
Oh, I could do that too.
You know, like like, I don't know if you're familiar with wax cotton, but they make jackets out of that in England to shed water. And
that's a great idea because it would do a lot to plug the holes in the seam.
Yeah, and you could probably get it like specific enough that it doesn't make a big stain or anything. Just
well,
it
you
probably
get those
wouldn't
little,
matter.
I have a little block or something that I used to wax my thread sometimes when I'm sewing with it. Yeah. So it looks a little.
You could experiment on a scrap of fabric,
not masculine, but
and see if it because like when you work with wax, like when I use wax thread, I actually press the thread with heat to make the wax go into the thread, and then it gets rid of the excess so it's not like on your fabric, and press it between paper. And you could experiment to see if when you do that, it's still waterproof or not, or is it better just to leave the wax like a good, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right, I do. Yeah, but it's a great idea.
And it's easy enough to reapply it after it gets cleaned and everything, and you know.
Oh, it gets what? That doesn't happen very often. Here, come here and show him. This is his regular outfit. You can see his Filson vest. This is a new one. This is, well, newer. Yeah. But he's got 3 or 4.
Practical.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's warm. Yeah.
I was telling him I finished this to go over your shoulders to stop the shoulder seams from leaking.
I'm not familiar with the brand, but I'm gonna look it up now.
Well, it's been around since the Alaska Gold Rush, but it's gotten very trendy now.
Oh,
What's
I'm
the name
call it
of-
Lager Chic in New York City.
It's called Lager Chic.
West, we just wear it because it's practical. Well, some of us do.
It's
So
like
what's
I
the
have some
brand?
I have some really old LL Bean stuff from like when I was in my 20s and 30s, so it's pretty old now. And I mean, some of the wools are beautiful ombre woven wools and that they don't make anymore, you know.
No.
Actually, LL Bean isn't bad. Like their stuff is pretty consistently, you know, the colors and the plaids kind of stay the same, but they don't make these kinds of jackets and vests like they used to either.
Audrey, what's the name of the company again?
It's Filson and Co. or Filson, I don't know. We
Is
just
it-
call it Filson, Filson. It's one word. Filson.
Yeah, I never heard of it.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, but as his daughters say, he should walk around the section of town called Ballard. Just as, oh, he just yelled at me. I heard him. Okay. Anyway, yeah, it's workwear, but now if you look at their catalog, it looks like those people don't really work in those clothes.
They probably don't.
All right, I hate to do it, but I have to go. Thanks, it's good to see y'all.
Yeah, good night.
I probably won't be here Saturday, but I'm hoping to make it to, at least by phone, to the barn box. If not, I'll have to listen to the recording. I
Yeah,
hate-
Sunday is the barn box chat for I should have said it earlier when everybody was here. Don't forget.
Yeah, should be a good one. The yarn is luscious.
Yeah.
And I
Oh, I'm
have
glad you
no-
like it. You know, we just never know.
No, it
I
looks
like it.
really nice. I haven't
Yeah.
done anything with it yet except squeeze it, and I like squeezing it.
I really like knitting with it, even though I wasn't able to finish a new design for it. I really do like it. I just think it'd be a great sweater, like a forever sweater that will never wear out.
Yeah, it has that kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
All right, thanks a lot. See y'all later.
Bye, Geeka.
Bye bye.
I'm gonna go too. Bye.
Yeah, it's definitely dark. It's 5 o'clock here. And
Oh, wow.
but it's getting lighter already. Like you can definitely tell it's not dark
Yeah.
before 5 by much.
We're staying light till almost 6 o'clock here now, which is really nice. I have longed for this time of year to all around. It's really nice.
We're due to have sunshine for 2 days, which will be nice.
Especially
Not
for,
very warm, but it'll be sunny.
we're not expecting any sun.
Sounds like you don't get sun till April.
Actually, in February, we have bright days later on in February. And then it starts to, and March, it can be really miserable. It's up and down until June or so.
Well, I
But the-
noticed that California Ann's not on the phone, and I hope that she's weathered the storms okay, or if they're completely without power or whatever.
She said last time we saw her that they're in the mountains, so their flooding isn't really a problem for them, but they were without electricity. Isn't that what she said? They were without electricity for like a few days.
Yeah. Well, that's good. And the Sierras are just getting feet and feet of snow.
Which they need. I mean, the snowpack has been poor for years now.
I have a brother who lives in California. He said they would need 3 years like this to get the reservoirs back to close to full.
Yeah, I was listening to a radio show the other night from someone in Utah where they're there's in serious danger of losing the Great Salt Lake there. And, you know, he was saying, yeah, what they're saying now in terms of snow is gonna help and hold things off quite a lot, but they need like 3 to 5 years of that to really save it. And people need to be reducing their water consumption to keep it going.
Those reservoirs, when they're empty, it's just like you look and there's 40 feet along the edges and you go, wow, that's a lot of water.
Yeah.
Because they're huge reservoirs. And the Great Salt Lake, I don't have no idea how deep it is.
It's not very deep right now.
Yeah.
But even with a little bit of reduction, they start losing some of the life in it. All right, you guys, I'm going to sign off to go eat supper. I'll see you guys Saturday.
See
Bye.
everyone Saturday. Bye.